O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. It's time for Dolphins football. Welcome to the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. EJDConstruction.com is a fully insured liability and workers' comp. Call Eric if you need a custom home builder or general contractor. 305-433-4843. Here's your host, the Big O.
Oh, baby, welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll. It is a beautiful Sunday night. I know it's going to be a long night for my man Sean and myself, and then we got to wake up in the morning to do the show. I know you're not feeling sorry for us. You shouldn't. But we are blessed. This is a blessed night that our team is sexy enough to be in the national spotlight. The question is now, can we earn this right and stay here for years to come? You know what I'm saying? And these are the kind of moments, man. These are the kind of moments. Man, we are loaded today. I got so many things to talk about in this matchup. I'm really excited. This is the test I've been waiting for. You've been waiting for weeks. So we're going to talk about how Tua's star continues to rise, why the silliness and the lack of respect out there makes no sense. We're going to talk about this matchup and where I think Miami can exploit this matchup, something that nobody else has actually exploited yet, and I'll tell you why they haven't exploited it yet, and where Miami has their chance to win. We're going to tell you, obviously, some of the keys to this game. I've got props that we can talk about. I've got the line that we can talk about. I've got a great story about how Dolphin fans are constantly unfair to yours truly. Okay, so it's a great example of how fans really lack appreciation for our show. And they lack, some of you, it's a small portion of you guys, but most of you are mature enough to kind of understand everything that goes on the program. But I gotta give you my gripe with it, and Sean, this will be a segment that you're gonna make that we're gonna have and we're gonna hold and we're gonna treasure, because it's something that I was thinking about, and it's absolutely hilarious how you get treated at times, and so we'll have a little fun with that. The glorious news is that the division is all yours. You know, back in the days of Scarface, he had the world is yours, right? Well, right now the AFC East is all yours, because Miami at 5-1 and Buffalo now 4-3. That guarantees you now that you're going to be ahead of Buffalo in this division, no matter what happens tonight. Now, we're all hoping that they win tonight, because tonight is I mean, it is incredibly important that you win tonight. But at 5-1, Buff is 4-3. The Jets are 3-3. They're off this week. New England's now 2-5 with the surprise win against Buffalo. And it just becomes frustrating because 2 weeks ago you play like dog crap. You lose by 28 points. You get absolutely dominated and embarrassed. And you and I know that the Dolphins are not 28 points worse than the Buffalo Bills. They got up for them, and Miami didn't meet it for whatever reason. Whatever. It was a disaster. You know, some of you just point at Liam Eichenberg, which is about the laziest thing that's out there. That whole team played like garbage, okay? Everybody played bad. So, you know, it's weird to watch, you know, the Patriots, who the Dolphins will kick their ass next week. But the news is good because, see, the thing you guys didn't know is that Chris Greer knows how to even, not only is he a great trader, but he knows how to plant double agents. So he went and planted Mike Gesicki there. And he said, hey, Mike, we're going to need you at some point in the season to make a difference here and give the Bills a loss because we know we know you're there to cash a check. We know you're no threat to us. We love you. You love it. Just there was no fit, but do it for us there. You know what I'm saying? Do it for Tua, and he did it for Tua. He got it. He did his what's that dance he does? The hickey, right? He gets a hickey or something. What is it? Something a hickey for Gesicki. What's it called? The gritty.
Gritty, or think the gritty or the giddy, whatever.
I got it at the end. Gritty. I thought it was hickey for Gesicki, something like that. But anyway, so we end up planting a double agent there, and he picks up a key touchdown. Now, I want you to think about this scenario. Okay, only us Dolphin fans think about this kind of shit. Okay, you don't get this on any other shows because, you know, I'm one of the few media members that openly says I love all my local teams. You know. So I want them all to win. I'll tell you the truth about them, but I want them all to win. We couldn't have lost today. No. See, giving Buffalo the loss is awesome because, of course, it distanced themselves from the Dolphins. And if the Dolphins can win today, boy, it really adds some sauce to the whole thing, right? So you can't lose with that, right? Because Buffalo takes another loss, a divisional loss, conference loss, the whole kit and caboodle. It was now. If Buffalo would have hung on for the win, it's not the end of the world, folks. Because I was torn. Do I want the Bills to lose or do I want Belichick to suffer? I got to admit, I love watching Belichick suffer. I'm a bad person, okay? You know, I'm sorry, Lord. I'm a bad dude. So I'm a bad dude. By the way, I also take all pleasure in watching Deshaun Watson struggle, get slammed to the ground, all of that. Shoulder injury, everything. The karma behind everything that goes with Deshaun Watson, I also enjoy, as I digress here. But anyway, so my point is, Dolphin fans, we couldn't lose because if the Patriots lose the game, it's one more step for Belichick getting his ass kicked out of the league, and he doesn't beat Shula's record. So, that's where I was torn. Okay, I don't know if you thought about it as deep as I did, because there's a part of, I want the Patriots to lose as much as possible, because if the Patriots lose as much as possible, Kraft will get, I'm done with this old man. I'm out of here. Let's kick his ass out of here, and he's gone. And he doesn't break Shula's record. You know what I mean? But getting that win, now it's only his second win of the year. They're 2-5, I believe. They're not going anywhere. Miami will, since Tua took over, the Dolphins pretty much own the Patriots. He's 5-0. So I expect them to be 6-0 when it's all said and done next week. But I got to say, I was torn. Watching Belichick suffer or the Bills lose, I don't know which one I'm enjoying more. I'm torn on that one. You're forgiven, Big O. Thank you, Stephen Harris. I appreciate you forgiving me because I'm feeling a little dirty. I take pleasure in watching Deshaun Watson, whether he gets injured. You know, I never root for injuries, but that guy, if he gets injured, where's the party? You know, if he throws 8 interceptions, crack the champagne. You know what I'm saying? I could not root more against one player than Deshaun Watson because all of his alleged acts just flat out disgust me. And the fact that some guy wanted to nail us and have that guy quarterback this logo, that is no, dude. No, we had some idiot coach that just was dying to bury Tua and then put a nail right in our coffin by giving us Deshaun Watson. And can you imagine that? So that's where I'm torn, watching Belichick suffer or the Bills lose. So the good thing is the Bills lose. Now it gets better, folks. Life gets better. The Bills lose, and now they have a short week, and they got to take on Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. Not that Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay is some force that you're afraid of, but it's still a short week for Buffalo. Now, Tampa is the road team. Buffalo will be home, so that's the part that kind of sucks. But still, it's a short week. Anything can happen on a Thursday night game. You guys know that those games are a disaster. You know you have the Dolphins and the Patriots, which, by the way, next week we are at Walk-Ons in Kendall. So join us. We'll have all kinds of giveaways, Caneswear. Talk to my friends at Perdomo Cigars. We'll have Big O Radio shirts. We got some new ones. We got them in dolphin colors and black and gray, and we are creating all kinds of other stuff. We will have a whole thing for merch coming up really soon, hats, everything. So hang in there with us. It's all being created. We got a nice guy that is doing a fantastic job. He and I have been talking, and obviously with 3A Graphics, they do a marvelous job, man, on a lot of things. So next week we'll be at Walk-Ons in Kendall. Again, always 2 hours before kickoff is when we start our pregame. We'll have giveaways in between the quarters, halftime, and 2-minute warning. All kinds of giveaways. Walk-Ons usually has gift cards. We get gift cards. We get all kinds of stuff always. So please make sure you join us over at Walk-Ons in Kendall. And then the Jets are taking on the Giants. I mean, it's kind of that personal stuff, and anything can happen there. I don't really worry about the Pats and the Jets as long as the Dolphins take care of business against them. Those teams aren't going to be anything. It's the Buffalo thing. And Buffalo could get tripped up again by Tampa Bay this week. Anything is possible. So nice to see Gesicki, the double agent, help out the Miami Dolphins and get it going, man. That was a beautiful thing. Mac Jones, by the way, was 25 of 30, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen, his inaccurate self, was 27 of 41, 265, 2 touchdowns, and interception. If you watched it, brother, there was a lot. He was spraying the ball all over the place at times. I put out a sarcastic tweet about, boy, Josh Allen is really accurate because that's ugly stuff there. All right, Dolphins and Eagles. Eagles are favored by 3. The over and under is 52.5. The money line is plus 124 for Miami. Eagles minus 148. I'm taking the Dolphins and the points in this one. I believe they can win this game. I know it's a tough contest going in, and everybody's got a knock. Okay, everybody's got a knock. You know, both teams are 5-1, and going into this week, Miami played against the Chargers, the Broncos, the Giants, the Pats, and Carolina, who are 5-24 going into this week. Okay, Carolina won. The Giants won. I don't know about the Chargers. Did they win yet, or have they choked away that thing? Where are they at right now? Where is that game? Let me pull up the scoreboard.
They're down 24-17 in the fourth quarter.
Is it?
They're down 24-17 in the fourth quarter.
Okay. All right. So there you go. So we'll see how it was. But going in, you know how people say, well, Miami hasn't played anybody. And this is what I always love about this. This is why wait till I tell you the story about fans, how it's amazing, right? Because we're fair here, good or bad, it's fair, right? So, they haven't played anybody. Okay, so let me ask you something. What do you think about what they've played? So the Eagles lost to a Jets team that has no offense. They beat a Washington team that has no offense and the quarterback that's been sacked the most in the NFL, 34-31 in overtime. They beat Tampa Bay 23-11, not necessarily a great offense. Minnesota, not necessarily a great offense, 34-28. And New England, 25-20. Again, another mediocre offense. So have they been tested? Has their defense been tested? I know it's a great defense. Don't get me wrong now. Okay? But it's funny how it just, and why? Because they've been in the Super Bowl. Because they won a Super Bowl a few years back. Because they've been winning for several years now. Because they've had success. So nobody questions anything, and they shouldn't with the Eagles. But with the Dolphins, they question everything because they haven't crossed that threshold that we've been talking about. Okay? You know, the one that some of you got all bothered with me, some of you 3 weeks ago with the Bills, they need to cross that threshold. That's what this game is about tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we all know that if they lose this game, you're still in first place in the division. You're comfortable. You're still controlling your destiny, as they say, right? So big picture, it's not the 5-2. It's not the end of the world. You'll have one of the best records in all of the conference, right? If I go to conference records, right? Here we go. I go to the entire conference. Right now, Miami and Kansas City are 5-1. So let's say they go 5-2. Baltimore 6-2. They won. Jacksonville's 5-2. Cleveland's 4-2. So they're still going to be on top of the conference with one of the best records. So we all know division, conference, it doesn't really affect you whatsoever. Record-wise, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't really knock you down some perch that you can't climb back up because you're only one stupid game from having the best record in the entire conference. Again. And you can earn that with the bunch of games that are left. So we're across that. We're done, right? We get it. Okay. But if you lose this game, this is what they keep saying to you. Okay, so you can beat the Chargers in Denver and the Giants and the Patriots in Carolina, but you can't beat the Bills and the Eagles. So it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to get legitimacy. It's not going to get respect. And that's what tonight is all about. Tonight is about a franchise that needs to kind of grow. How many times I've used this line on you guys for 3 weeks now, right? Since the Buffalo. We all know the Dolphins are good. Do you want to be great? You know, I had a listener on Twitter today say to me, well, any given Sunday. And I got to tell you something. I'm sick and tired of any given Sunday. I'm sick and tired of maybes. Maybe if this happens, if we can cause a turnover, if we can limit them with points, if the quarterback comes in and he's kind of cold. You know, I want to go back, and here's where I'm going to go old and new. I want to go back to being the Shula days. When it didn't matter if you were the undefeated Bears, or you were the dominant Eagles with Ron Jaworski, or you were a Patriot team that was upstart, or a Chargers team, or whatever it was back in the day that would waltz into the Orange Bowl, or Miami was coming to your town, there was a good chance that you were going to lose that game. Do you know why? Because that's what happened under Shula. Most of the games he coached, he won. Do you know what happens with Andy Reid? Most of the games he coaches, he wins. Do you see what's going on with the team you're playing tonight, the Philadelphia Eagles? Lately, the last few years, they actually win a hell of a lot more than they ever lose. You know, the team that they lost to 3 weeks ago dominates this freaking division, owns Miami at 12-2, and they win a hell of a lot more than they lose. Oh, you know that team Kansas City? They've won a couple of titles with that guy, Pat Mahomes. They win a hell of a lot more than they lose. That's where I want Miami. I want them up on that perch. I don't want them in the next level. They've reached that next level a whole bunch. That's the rest of the next level good teams. Not the mediocre and the bad, but that next level that they're all in there, the Dallas Cowboys and all those kind of teams. Miami's bunched in with all those kind of teams that you don't respect. Do you respect the Dallas Cowboys? Do you respect the Los Angeles Chargers? No, you don't respect those teams that are in the second tier. Do you? The Pittsburgh Steelers right now, is this some kind of Steelers team that you really respect right now? They're a borderline playoff team, whatever at times with Mike Tomlin, but do you really look at them like anything like a real threat? No, dude. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that level is. So you got to get out of that. That's what this game is all about. This game is about putting your name out there, your franchise out there, back to being royalty. That's why all those numbers are there, and all that success that this team had over the years. Those guys used to win most of those games. Not the average and the mediocre teams. They fattened their record every year, getting to 9 or 10 wins with those. They made themselves elite to get to 12 and 13 and 11 and all that in a 16-game schedule. They did that when they beat these kind of teams. And that's what Kansas City fans are experiencing right now. That's what Eagles fans are experiencing right now. That's what I want you to experience. I've gone through it, but I need to go through it again, bro. I haven't been through it in decades. Decades. So if you want to lie to yourself and you want to just say, well, you know, hey, man, this game in the big picture, it's not important because it doesn't affect our records and our standings and we can still control our destiny. All that bullshit is right. It's true. It's true. It's true. But do you want respect? Nobody's going to take you serious. They're going to look at the offense and they're going to say, yeah, you guys put up all those points, but then when they punch you in the mouth, you go back home. And so tonight is a team that's going to punch you in the mouth. You got to be able to counter. And you got to find a way to come up with one hell of a performance. I don't want them to lose. I'm going to be disappointed if they lose. But if you lose, it better be the kind of game that you're like, man, they should have won that. They could have won that. Damn, that was close. They played a great game. You know, Philly's a hell of a team. All that. We know they are. Boom. You know, it'll suck, but you can kind of deal with it. What you can't deal with is the domination that you had 3 weeks ago. That's just not accepted at all. Can't accept it. No doubt. Thank you for the love in the super chat. Saw the Tua documentary. Wearing the jersey means more now. Yeah, man. When you see that Tua documentary, what was it called again? Where the hell is it? I know I have it written over here. To a prophecy in the making. That thing is absolutely awesome. And then what he did with Michael Smith, who I've known for many, many years. Michael's a really, really good dude, and I got to know him when he was breaking in early in the business, and then moved over to the Boston Globe. Really good dude. And he, Tua obviously spilled his heart again. He's so, brutally honest. I think sometimes to a fault, because people can't handle his honesty and then they try to use it against him. You know what I mean? Like when he talked about the playbook stuff, like everybody goes through that. Most people don't know the playbook. A very less than in single digit percentage is a guy that, has that memory that is just doesn't forget anything, photographic, and remembers all the plays in the playbook in a couple of days. There's a couple of those freaks, but most everybody else doesn't know their playbook for a couple of years. That's kind of the way it is. But then they hold it against him, and then Tyreek comes out. I didn't know all the playbook myself last year, and then people get to learn about that, and it's like, yo, And then when he said, short quarterbacks, it's different for us to see, the people freaked out. And it's like, what, you didn't realize that they use windows and timing and they're throwing to spots, like, he does things at times and it's taken the wrong way. And in a way, he's doing a beautiful job of actually educating you, or trying to educate you on what's going on so you can understand where he's coming from. And yet all they do is use it against him. Kind of like what I was telling you now. It's, the Dolphins have only played this. Okay, well then who have the Eagles played? They've played no offenses. Nothing like this today, right? And yet nobody mentions that. Nobody talks about it. It's, it's just one-sided, and it's always that way, dude. It really is amazing. So what are you going to do? Made a nice big pan of baked pasta for dinner and to celebrate a good game tonight. You do that, Ragin. Let's see. Big O, what are your expectations for Chubb tonight? He needs to show. Everybody's got to show up, man. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Lucas Stames, thank you for the super chat, sir. Is bedwetting Herbert the same as Cutler? What an arm, but no sizzle, no raw, boring person, not motivating. Yes. Yeah, kind of the same thing. Jeff George, bro. I liken him more to Jeff George. An athletic Jeff George is what I liken him to, more than even Cutler, actually. Because I think Jeff George was actually better than Cutler, to be quite honest. And if you really go back and look at the stats, Jeff actually had some better stats than Cutler, I believe, if I remember off memory. And not that I would want either guy on my team, but the arm quality, I put Herbert in that Jeff George class, and I don't put a lot of people with Jeff George. Jeff George has one of the 5 greatest arms I have ever seen in my life. No balls, no character, don't want him as a leader, don't want him in key moments. But my Lord, dude, you gave him a gift that you should have given it to like Teddy Bridgewater, is what you should have done. That's what you should have done. Okay. Steve Walsh, what a waste. It's like watching Ryan Leaf. What a waste. When, some of these other guys that, all they needed was the gift. They had the brain. Ty Detmer, he easily could have played in this league, but he had an arm that was, terrible, raggedy. Barely could play in this league because of his arm. A big question is, are the Dolphins as good as the record shows? They got to prove themselves to be great. Exactly. And that's what everybody's going to say. By the way, you can also make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. EJD Construction, a proud sponsor of our program. Dade and Broward counties, folks. 305-433-4843. They are fully insured, liability and workers' comp. So when they walk onto your property, doesn't matter what they do, somebody gets injured, nobody will be suing you because they are fully insured. And if you don't hire EJD, make sure whoever you hire for any kind of job Make sure they're fully insured, folks. Dade or Broward County, custom home construction, major home remodeling, doesn't matter. We've had listeners that have built from an observation deck to an efficiency, to an Airbnb, to remediating their home after a fire, home theater with stadium seating. 2 of our listeners have done that. Modernizing the kitchen. There's a whole bunch of things that he's told me over the years that you guys have done, which is absolutely amazing. So they do an awesome job. They will blow you away. And go to their Instagram page at ejdconstruction.com. All right. I want to get into a little bit of the respect, or let's say the way to a star is growing, and people don't understand, and it's all in front of you. And one of the things that I did if you follow, the platform, the first 2 years, I took a beating. I was defending Tua. I was telling everybody that the coaches and everything around him was all screwed up. I explained to people how he threw more touchdowns than interceptions with no offensive line, almost no weapons. When they even got Waddle, they made him a possession receiver, which was like asinine to make that guy a possession receiver. I never saw a quarterback get pressured while he was handing off the ball. That's like the weirdest thing. You didn't even have enough time to take 2 steps back and hand off the ball. There's already somebody on your hip, and I took a beating. Obviously, I remember in those days, you can go back and look at the videos. I would say just take Ryan Tannehill out of Tennessee and put Tua there right now, and they're in the playoffs, and take Cousins out and put Tua there, and I'm being called crazy, all of that. And so now I think, you're turning the tables. Now you've got a lot of people that have admitted that they're wrong, but they are still moving the goalposts on him, right? And this week, which I've heard this before too, that you put somebody else in there. When we used to have Poop on here, he used to say that Teddy Bridgewater could do the same thing, which is just asinine. There's no shot that could ever happen, because he's nowhere near the quarterback that Tua is. But others have been doing that, I know Screaming A and all that shit. And so it's always moving the goalposts on Tua. You know what I'm saying? And it's always been unfair when you look in front of you. Don't you want somebody to just improve? Isn't that what it's really all about, is improving? And so if I tell you, this year, his completion percentage is 71%. Okay? So if his completion percentage is 71% and he's thrown for 1,876 yards right now, the dude is on pace to throw for 5,300 yards. His TD progressions, 11, 16, 25, and he's already got 14. And we're only 6 games in. We've got 11 games to go, and the guy is 11 touchdowns away from what he did last year. So he's going to crush that one, right? His completion percentage has gone up all the way to 71%. This is a career high for him. He's got now a career percentage of 66.5. That's adding the first 2 seasons with Flo and no coaching and no offense. And he's over the elite level of 65. He's at 66. He's at 71 now, which is just the best of the best are in the 70s. Okay. Yards, 18-14, 26-53, 35-48. And like I told you, he's on pace for 5,300 yards. He has nearly 2,000 yards right now with 11 games left. He has 1,900 yards, 1,876. In front of you, you're watching, and he is constantly proving to you that all he does is get better. The team, all they do is win. This week, Chris Perkins was taking a lot of heat unfairly, by the way. because he was saying that Tyreek Hill is an MVP. And he's right. Tyreek Hill should be in the MVP conversation. Montana and Rice were in the MVP conversation. Brady and Moss were in the MVP conversation. I'm sure Kelsey and Mahomes can be in the MVP conversation. It's not the first time, not the second time, not the 100th time that Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman are in the MVP conversation. That Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner are in the MVP conversation. It's at no point was Chris Perkins trying to take a shot at Tua, and yet I thought some of you were unfairly going after him, just like Joe Shad. Joe Shad was posing the question, and I get it. Joe Shad has been a complete waffler. We love him, but he first was on the Tua bandwagon, then got completely scared and got completely off and was calling Justin Herbert already great and the second coming and all that, which he's none of that. But whatever. And now he's back on. So, he's a waffler. So we got it. Okay. But overall, the question that Joe Shad was posing wasn't coming from him. He was talking in general, because there are people. I don't know if Poop still feels that way. I know that when he used to come on, when he was on the show, he would bring up the whole Teddy Bridgewater thing, and I would lose my shit because it was just ridiculous. But I know the screaming A, and there's probably others out there that are saying the same, dumbass line that, hey, anybody can step in there and do what he's doing. Man, the Dolphins haven't had a quarterback for 30 years. They're not easy to find. And passers like that, they're almost impossible to find. Okay, you can go back and listen to, I put up a cut this week, earlier in the week, that's from 2020. That it's the moment that I crossed that threshold and I said, F it. Because, we were like, the injuries and take them at 5, the injuries. And it was that moment that I crossed the threshold and I said, F it. You got a ton of picks. Take his ass, dude. Okay? Because he's a great passer. You hear me. I even say it. And I love great passers. I say it there in 2020, and I'll say it now again. I get sexually aroused with great passers, because that's better than having a rocket arm and running 4.4 and all that other shit that people talk about. I love the guy that's accurate, and that's why I crossed that threshold, that moment. I don't know what day. I think it was a February or March or something. It's on there in my timeline if you search for it. And we should try to pull that video, Sean. Actually, that would be cool if we can pull that specific video and that cut. And I got to that point where I said, you got to get him, because he's such a special passer that you got to take the chance, and it's the right thing to do. And it's just, you saw it this week, how he handled himself with Michael Smith, how he talks about how he's able to grow here, and we all know this is the show that told you that Flo didn't want him, that Flo was making hell for him back there. He was making hell for everybody in that building. So we broke that way before everybody else. Nobody knew even about what was going on, behind the scenes. And this guy has overcome all of this. There's a lot of quarterbacks that cave in to stuff like this, and they cave in to the media and everything else. And you hear him in that conversation with Michael Smith. You watch that documentary. If you haven't watched a prophecy, what is it? A prophecy in the making, right? If you haven't watched that, your Tua love will grow even more. But I just wish that people would take the time and look at the numbers, how they continue to go up. He's 26-14. He's 12 games above 500. And 2 of the years, he didn't have any help. People were just against him, and he still won more than he lost. I don't understand the disbelief, the negativity for this young man, and I don't understand how some people still don't see that he's special. And only because he's not 6'5" and he doesn't throw it from one end zone to the other, that's the only reason they look at him, because some of you have been programmed to be size queens. And all this guy does is continue to prove every single day that he's one of the great players in this league and one of the top 3 passers in the NFL. By the way, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. I got the inactives. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yep.
Okay, I got him. Robbie Chosen is inactive. Skylar Thompson, obviously emergency quarterback. Kelvin Joseph, the cornerback. Xavier Howard is out. So no X, no Connor Williams. So Liam Eichenberg is going to play, and Tyler Kroft, the tight end, is also out. And I'll get to something that I want to talk about, overall, here in this kind of going off of all of this. Okay. Liam Eichenberg is up for one hell of a challenge, but so is Robert Hunt, by the way. And so is Isaiah Wynn, and so is, Kendall Lamb, and so it, well, actually, no. Teron Armstead should be playing, right? Right? Teron, no? Out still? When's he back? Next week?
On the IR? I thought they put him to IR.
Still?
I believe
okay.
he is.
Yeah, that's right. He's still IR. That's right. So we still have Kendall Lamb, and he's doing a fine job. So Kendall Lamb has to, I don't know why I have a brain fart in that moment. And then you've got to get these guys, they all got to step up, dude. Every one of them. They got to get it done. Tua's going to have to call the right protections. They're going to have to run the hell out of the football. Their receivers are going to have, and I got the keys to this game. Okay. I got the entire keys to this game. Well, a key and a secret weapon for this game. Okay. All right. So I don't worry about Lamb. I don't worry about Wynn. That's the beauty, by the way, whether Armstead plays or Lamb plays. I feel good about that side. What's it called? Wynn has done a terrific job. Liam Eichenberg, I get it that everybody is like piling on the guy. I just wish we would take a pause, because they have done well with everybody. Everybody. They get Wynn. He plays well. They figure out Lamb. They figured out Austin Jackson. Robert Hunt has played well. Connor Williams, really, it's just a couple of snaps. His blocking, they didn't need to teach him how to block. The guy's a monster blocking. He's one of the best when it comes to the center position, right? And so now you've developed the left tackle, and they have stuck with Liam Eichenberg. So they thought he improved last week, coming off of the week before with the whole Buffalo mess. But that was his first start to start Buffalo. I mean, that's kind of screwed up, ladies and gentlemen. So now he has more starts under his belt. He had a physical matchup against Buffalo. Now you've got an opportunity in this one, okay, to kind of redeem yourself, okay? So let's see what happens here, because everybody else has improved. And Liam actually has improved the last couple of weeks. Why isn't it that maybe Liam Eichenberg can possibly be a decent center? It might happen today. So everybody's got to step up overall. It's not just a Liam Eichenberg thing, because one of the lazy takes we have in the Buffalo game is, oh, Liam Eichenberg lost it. Dude, Liam Eichenberg played like crap. I get that. But everybody played like crap. It's so unfair to pick on Liam Eichenberg, because he's Now the Noah Igbenogany, then he's the Austin Jackson, he's the Tua Tagovailoa, he's the, we don't do it too much lately because, but the Channing Tindall thing, right? He hasn't really done much. That's one. So there's always that guy that fans seem to gnaw at, right? But I got to continue to give them the benefit of the doubt now because they have been able to fix everybody else. So why not Liam Eichenberg? So tranquilo. Let's give it some time. It sucks that Connor Williams is out. It sucks that X is out now. That's a pain in the ass. There's no doubt about that. They're going to have to overcome that kind of stuff. But maybe also with X, you got to start saving him for down the road. And again, it's one of those things. This game in the standings is not nearly as important. So that's why people are, I guess that's why the team is kind of looking at it that way. All right. If there's any other news there, Sean, pass it on, por favor. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about a key in this game that I think is something that I don't know if people have really talked a lot about, but this secondary has had some injuries for the Eagles. One of the things for this Eagles secondary is they live off of the pressure from their front seven. So all these dogs that they've got on there, Jalen Carter, the Milton Williams kid, by the way, has played well. Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Hassan Reddick. This is Zach Cunningham, Nakobe Dean. This is a nasty front. It is a deep front. They've got incredible talent overall, right? It's going to be a challenge for this offensive line. But I will tell you this. Remember, let's go back to what I was just talking about. So the Eagles have faced the Jets, Washington, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and New England's offenses. Okay? They haven't really faced any great offenses. This is the great offense that they're facing now. So they haven't really been tested. And one of the areas that I think they can be tested in is their secondary. Reed Blankenship is like their lead guy. He's got 7 pass defenses. He's got an interception. Okay, he got it off of Baker Mayfield. Darius Slay is a good corner. He's got an interception. He's got 4 pass defenses. He's going to be really busy, I would imagine, with Tyreek Hill. Now, question is, will they move him around with Tyreek, or will they keep him on one side? We'll find out. Bradbury, who's a solid football player, has got 4 pass defenses. But when you start to break down their secondary, okay, they actually don't come up with a lot of turnovers. Their safeties, Blankenship, right? He's got the pass defenses. Terrell Edmonds has none. Nakobe Dean, Zach Cunningham, neither one has a pass defense. Neither one has an interception. So running backs out in the flats are going to have some success here. I think a guy like Waddle, okay, you could be seeing Waddle have a big night tonight. And here's the one thing that I would say that is going to play into all of this. And I can't wait to see if it comes to fruition, because it becomes the secret weapon to all of this. Chase Claypool and Tanner Conner. So all of a sudden now you've added a 6'4", 258-pound wide receiver who has a body like a tight end. You have a tight end who is a former wide receiver in Tanner Conner, who's 6'3", 232. Size, there's power, there's athleticism, and ladies and gentlemen, there's a boat ton of speed. I am very interested to see what they start doing with the blocking of Julian Hill, with the athleticism of Claypool, and Tanner Conner has kind of peed in his pants every time he's gotten a shot. I will admit, okay? But I will also admit that those of us that have been to practice, there's a couple of times we've had a glimpse of that deer that just goes flying by, and you're like, what the hell was that? Hey, that's Tanner Connor. Dude's fast. So these are safeties that haven't been really tested. Now you're going to test them with speed, and you're going to test them with size. I wonder what kind of package they're going to have for any of these kind of guys, if they're going to use them or not. You know what I mean? Or they're going to go just with the regular group of wide receivers. But because you start looking that overall that secondary hasn't been really tested, and Tua does a magnificent job of getting rid of the football early, I think that's going to be a huge key in this game. Not just Tyreek, not just Waddle, not just whoever, Braxton Berrios or whoever else, but I'm really interested to see what kind of packages they have for Claypool and Tanner Connor, because neither one is going to have an expanded package. Neither one's going to know the entire playbook and be a part of the entire playbook. Why? Because they're only going to have certain plays that are going to be designed for them. So they don't need to know everything Tyreek does, because Claypool and Tanner cannot play that position. Plus, those two are playing two different positions. One's playing a big wide receiver role, and the other one is playing from the tight end role. To me, this is one of the intriguing parts of this game, because when Tanner Connor got activated, and then you see Chase Claypool now not being used last week. And remember, I told you, if I'm them, I'm saving Chase Claypool, dude. Why am I going to show him off in a game you don't need him? You know, go save his ass for this game here. Use his size and use his athleticism so you can high point balls with those guys. I practice must have been fun the last couple of days. So I think if you're going to exploit, you're going to go after this secondary, you're going to go after these safeties, you're going to go after these linebackers that in coverage they have not made plays. They probably haven't been tested enough. So I think that's what you want to do in this case. And you've got two big human beings in the middle of the field that if somehow or another you start getting Claypool involved, that safety is just going to have hell now all of a sudden. You've got Waddle and Tyreek on the outside, and you've got to deal with Claypool in the middle of the field. And you know the size of that target. That is, I can't wait to see what the mad scientist has got. I really can't. It's going to be pretty awesome. So, anyway. Let's see. Chase Claypool and Eagles wide receiver Julio Jones both officially active tonight and will make their debuts. Yes. I'm not surprised that Claypool is making his debut tonight. Big O, on 2 Sunday night football games, been the first time in a long time. Well, the Dolphins are becoming more relevant, my friend. And when you become more relevant, you get these kind of opportunities, which is a beautiful thing. On Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, that is Cash Big O Show, Steve M., Hateful Steve, comes in, says, I don't want to be too positive, but I feel good about tonight. Oh, wow. Even Hateful Steve feels good about the Dolphins tonight. Something's in the air. And then he also follows up. This one was before. He says, so everyone else in the division can beat Buffalo? That is a good line. That's a good line right there. It is frustrating. I saw that game today, and it frustrated the crap out of me, man. I got to say. It's just like, come on, guys. You got to be able to do this. You got to be able to get it done. Kind of like watching Bitcoin hover around 30,000. Oh, yeah, it's about to explode. Vinny Lenya, do you expect this to be a pass-heavy game? Yes, I do. Yeah, I don't think that they're going to have nearly, again, this is such a predictable league, dude. But yeah, I think it'll be more pass than it will be run, my friend. Yes, I do. You listen. You got to win by Tua's arm. Now, if they can run the ball, ladies and gentlemen, and this is one of the things. I want to mention this too, because I made a couple of notes on this. And I think it's very important that what you're going to see a lot on the offense. I suppose what you're going to see tonight a lot on offense. Okay. You're going to see a lot of motion, which is, everybody will tell you, yeah, they're going to move. But the reason why you want to have the motion is that you want to try to get the defense to commit. And once Tua sees somebody bite and commit to a certain player because they're assuming that a certain route is coming or whatever, that's when they have you. So it's very important. And then also by stretching the defensive line, this is what you also do. We go back to Tua's honesty. Okay, remember how he was saying, short quarterbacks, it's different for them to see downfield, right? Well, by running that wide zone, right, you're now stretching your offensive line, you're stretching their defense, and you're creating wider passing lanes. So that's one of the things that will play into Tua's favor. This is why your offensive lineman must be very athletic, because in this scheme at times you will find yourself in space and you cannot whiff. And then that's when there'll be stunts and things like that our favorite friend Liam Eichenberg has been burned with those kind of stunts, right? And I know some of you are cringing when I said that, but that's kind of why you want the motion for many reasons, besides trying to create an advantage, trying to get your receivers off the line without getting blocked, which, by the way, the motion will also be very important for that, because if you allow the defender to get his hands on your running backs or your wide receivers at the line of scrimmage, then he's going to slow down the route. This is the kind of game that Tua will not have time. So it is imperative that you get off the line as clean as possible, because you need to be in your route as quick as possible, so Tua then sees when the break is coming, when you're making the cut, and he can anticipate the throw in the window that is proper to the whole thing. So there's a lot of it, behind why you want to have all of this and why you want to have the movement and what it does to the defense and how it creates an advantage, for your offense. Now you got to have an understanding. This is why it pisses me off even more when I hear like, oh, well, anybody can do it. Do you think everybody has the same level of intelligence? Like, how insulting that is. When you can read and comprehend and decipher this as quick as possible, that what Tua has up here, very few people have it in the league. Forget about the backups. I'm talking about very few starters in the league are able to react as quick as him and throw it into those windows before the receiver comes out of it. It's insulting as hell the way they go about making what Tua does easy. And the reality is his greatness is what makes it actually look easy, because he's that good. And so you think it's that easy when, that's asinine. Let's see what else. Louis Katz, thank you for the love on the super chat from Mexico. Thank you, sir. Saludos, mi amigo. Lo agradezco, as they say. All-purpose yards. Thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Allen career numbers versus extrapolated to full season. Best QB season of all time. He's mediocre versus the rest of the AFC. This must stop this year with Fangio. With everybody, dude. He's 12-2. McDermott is 12-2 against the Dolphins. That has to stop, dude. You need to go 9-5 in the next 14 against the Bills. It's time to turn the tables and become the better team and win the matchup more often. By the way, please don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. It is very important to smash the hell out of the like button. That secondary only has 2 interceptions this year. So I'm telling you, attack this secondary. They have not faced speed like this. You know, we know that the challenge for Miami is to stop that run. That's going to be and obviously I would bracket AJ. You know, is probably what you're going to have to do. Kader Kohu, don't get too handsy, young man. Don't get too handsy. Let's do this. Give me 2 minutes here so we can turn over the show for the second hour. I want to get into something funny. It's happened to me for years, but the last couple of weeks has been kind of funny with some Dolphin fans. And I love you all, okay? But I want to explain how Dolphin fans are a lot of times, and this is, I would imagine, happens with every fan base, but how you guys sometimes are incredibly immature and how you guys are incredibly unfair to me. Like, man, like it's insulting how unfair you are to me, to be quite honest. It's funny as shit, but it's really insulting. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what that is. Hour number 2 of the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show is next.
You're listening to Miami Dolphins coverage on the Sports Talk 305 network, brought to you by EJDconstruction.com. This is the Miami Dolphins pregame show with Orlando Alzugaray.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Painswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
foregoing statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Welcome back to the best coverage of Miami Dolphins football on any platform. This is the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show on the Sports Talk 305 network. Here's your host, Orlando Alzugaray.
All right, we're going to get into a little bit of the QB battle on the show here in this hour, but I also want to share a story with you guys because this is kind of the life I live, right? And hey, man, I chose it. That's the way it goes. You know, this is the kind of the BS I live with. But I just want you to, because nobody ever looks at it from my end, because you guys, why would you give a shit? You know what I'm saying? Most of you, you know, whatever. I know some of you, you know, you actually like really care about me and the show and Sean and our well-being and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of you, you know, you just kind of use us and cast us aside. And we do, I think we do one hell of a service. We break way more news on the Dolphins than anybody. It's not even close. Okay. That's not even up for debate. You know, and we got great insiders in here and great opinions and all that kind of stuff. And so I want to walk you through, because I have this, I'm one of the few guys that has kind of this love-hate relationship with fans, right? And so it's this, watch, okay? So I write an article years ago, hey, you know, you need to fire Tannenbaum and Gase and hire Chris Greer. And dude, fans hated Chris Greer. So I'm the guy trying to be positive about Chris Greer, right? And I'm fighting it and all that. And now it's taken years, but I think people have kind of gotten off that whole trip and they kind of like the guy now. Right, and they think he's good, which I know him and Reggie McKenzie and Marvin Allen, one of the best in the NFL. All three of those guys are exceptional. Just people don't realize that, but whatever. Now they're going to realize it as they find out that this is one of the three best front offices. By the way, Philadelphia and Miami, two of the three best front offices in the NFL. So then comes Tua, right? And, dude, I go through hell for 2 years defending Tua. So the Dolphin fan base now loves me, you know, the Tuanons love me, you know. Oh, wow, look, he's the only media guy that continues to defend Tua throughout everything, this, that, all that, right? And so, you know, you get people on board for all of that, right? And so like 3 weeks ago, we have the Buffalo game. And they come up with a fraudulent performance. So all of a sudden now I'm calling I got all these butthurt Dolphin fans. Like, you know, my DMs are like loaded, bro. I mean, they're calling me every name in the book and this and that, and how you gave up on the team. No, dude, it's a fraudulent performance. It's what it is, you know? And so now they don't want to listen to me anymore, right? Or they're, oh, that's it. I'm not following you. I don't listen. And I'm like, you know, what am I going to do, bro? You know, you're going to act however you're going to act, because we have in this world, we have turned into echo chambers, and we only want to hear what we want to hear. And I love you all out there, but this is not the show you're going to hear that Mike Wallace was a good signing, or Ndamukong Suh, or that when they hired Joe Philbin, I told you it was going to be a disaster, and that, you know, that flow in the middle of a winning streak. Do you think I enjoy telling you that in the middle of a winning streak they're going to fire the coach? Do you think I enjoy telling you that? Seriously, do you think I enjoy telling you this Ndamukong Suh contract is a disaster, which is what it ended up to be? They draft what was the name of the cornerback from Illinois? I want to see my grandmother. They draft a kid, and I get roasted because I tell you that the kid is immature. And was he not immature? Yes. So, like my track record is like pretty damn good, dude. Like the best out there. I go on limbs that nobody goes. Okay? Nobody will say fire Dale Talon. Nobody. I will do it. And then everybody gets on it. Nobody says, hey, you got to trade Huberdeau for a star. Nobody. I said that before everybody. I go out on a limb, and I do this all the effing time. No, they're not going to sign Dalvin Cook. He's not going to get what he wants. They're not trading for him. They're not going crazy for Jonathan Taylor either. It's not. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to be honest. But this is not the show that you're going to hear what you want to hear only. This is not an echo chamber. And I see it in politics all the time. I see it in life. They only want to hear what they want to hear to make themselves feel good. Dude, the only thing you should be able to feel good about, or dudettes out there, is that I suffer just like you do with this. Or with this, or this, or this, or any of the teams that we have in town. I suffer the same way. I enjoy it the same way. But if I tell you something, it's not because I wanted to be so bad at, hey, oh, there he goes. He wants to fire Dale Talon. No, dude, he's lost his fastball. You got to get rid of him. What do you want me to do? And if you don't want to believe that was a fraudulent performance 3 weeks ago, I'm sorry. It's not like it's what I do. I'm sorry. When they draft Tannehill, I'll tell you that he's not good. When they draft Ginn, I'll tell you it was a bad deal. I'm sorry. That's just the way it goes on this show for 30 years. But, you stood by Tua, and now everybody's a fraud. No, dude, not everybody's a fraud. It was a fraudulent performance. Oh, that's it. I hate you. It's like some of you out there, man, you got to calm the hell down. And you got to understand that I'm looking at it from a completely objective point of view. I cannot grab the pom-poms. Okay? I can't do this, bro. That's not what this job's about. I'm just not going to do everything, and everything is glorious and it's all beautiful and everything. No, man, that's just not the reality. I'm sorry. I love Mario Cristobal. Great man, obviously a great recruiter, an impeccable character. I don't know if he can coach on game day. I'm sorry. I need to see it. I see too many examples that he can't. You think I'm trying to be a jerk here? No, I'm just being honest. Now, if you want a show that is just going to tell you everything with the Heat is fine, and that they're doing everything right, and that Inter Miami doesn't make any mistakes, and that the Dolphins are impeccable, and that the Marlins are great, and all that, well, dude, I'm sorry, man. I that's just not who I am. But it's funny how when you don't hear what you want, then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. And that's it. And so because you didn't hear what you want, castaway. You people are a trip, man. You people are an absolute trip. By the way, Safid Dean and David Furonis is going to join us here on the postgame show. Let's see. What else do we have here? Let me go to the super chats here. Alexis says Pupili's White and Tua are the same in this. Oh, well, I haven't heard him say that, but if he thinks that White for real, yeah, that's no. That's some good smoke. That's some good smoke right there. That's got some high concentration of THC on that one. Vinny Lenya. Is it Lenya or Lena? Lenya, right? Because you just couldn't do the deal, right?
Defensively, is there a way Miami can slow it down, or will this be more about trying to get a couple of timely stops? Yes, I think that's what it is. I don't, dude, we are asking, Vinny, we are asking Wilkins and Raekwon and all these cats to play like they've never played before. And will they all of a sudden become a physical bunch? Then yeah, they can do that. But I think they're going to get pushed around some because that's a really good offensive line. And the run and the quarterback runs. I think it's about timely stops. That's what I think it is. Yeah. I don't think this defense is at the point where they can start getting really nasty with a team like Philadelphia. But I think they can beat Philadelphia because they have enough to get timely stops. So, but they better, boy, without X now, you better be even better up front. William Quigley is in the house. Yes, sir. Cutter's Edge Pro, Dave Broward and Palm Beach counties, baby. Big O offense needs to show up and be balanced to keep the Eagles offense off the field. Herbert and Allen choked today. Yes, they did. And let me tell you, William, if they're able to run the ball against this front, wow, that'll be pretty exciting. William, if they run the ball, they have a really good chance to win this game because I know they're going to pass. As I made my case already, there's lots of ways they can challenge this secondary and the linebackers in coverage. I think that they're going to be able to get after them. But, William, if they run the ball, my brother, oh, wow. Things are going to get really fun here. Okay. Tom Wilson is in the house. Thank you, sir, for the love and the super chat. Big O listening since 1990s. Me and Mama just worked the weekend, poured a couple of strong rum drinks, and look into the Phinz drowning the Eagles. Phinz up. Well, Tom, thank you, sir. I appreciate you immensely. And enjoy those drinks and enjoy the Dolphin win tonight because we need it. The Fishman is in the house. What up, O? Wow, what a choke job. Herbert I don't know. Did Herbert finally choke? Did he? Oh, that is so glorious. By the way, I gave
5-1-17.
What happened? Did I win?
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. No, I needed it, bro. The freaking Detroit Lions did not show up today. I watched that game, and let me tell you something. That offense was nothing like, they made all the plays, dude. It wasn't anything complicated. I don't know what happened to Detroit today, bro, but they got completely handled by the Ravens overall. But I gave the 5.5 with the 31-17. Comfortable. What's Herbert? What was his numbers? Where are all those people I used to talk about Justin Herbert? Like 2 interceptions, touchdown, 2 interceptions, 17 of 30, 259. He's a real monster. He's such a stud, that Justin Herbert. I got to tell you, he is really amazing. Big O, what is the handle for Cash App? It is Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And Bitcoin donations are very, very appreciated. Mateo, thank you for the love and the super chat, sir. All I want is a competitive game. 10 games left. I want to win. I want it all, dude. I want my Dolphins to be elite. Dude, I'm 57. I don't have a lot of time left. Okay? I don't know. I don't know if I'll be here next season or 5 seasons from now or 10 seasons from now. How much longer do I need to wait? I've got my pad in Vegas. Okay? I am not giving up hope. They can do it. I know that they can do it, dude. They have the team. These guys just got to wake up and get it done. Let's see what we got here. Matthew Toffler. Thank you, sir. Love you, brother. Bitcoin. Little Bitcoin on Cash App. Thank you. Very nice of you. Appreciate you. Always love the Bitcoin. Yes, sir. And he says, for the premier Phinz content. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very nice of you. Very nice.
Philly's O and D lines are superior to Miami's. That will be the difference. Make a prayer. We need it. I mean, that's understandable, my brother. Let me see, Sean. Hold on. Let me get the headphones on. Yes, sir.
No, I had an issue with the solo D playing when we came in, so I fixed it. It's ready to go.
Ready to go?
Whenever you get a chance. It just didn't fire, so I had to reload it.
Okay, well then let's do it. I want to see a little solo D here before the game. We love playing solo. Now we got no more Roger Morant, bro. I love Roger's raps, man. They're gone. Bill from Boynton does a good job too, by the way. Okay. Go ahead. Let's do it. Let's see and hear Solo D do his thing.
DWA Miami Dolphins gonna beat him up in Philly. Let's go.
Sliding up the Philly guy, win streak energy. Mind state, one place, leave with the victory. Tour verse Jalen, leave with some memories. Might show brotherly love, but no sympathy. Beat him up in Philly, beat him up in Philly. Beat him up in Philly, Dolphins running through the city. Beat him up in Philly, beat him up in Philly. Beat him up in Philly, Dolphins running through the city. Okay, DOLPHINSARETHE, great test. Record can't never be broken, Shula could get rest. Philly couldn't beat the Jets, we are not impressed. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Bitch, back to the rapping though. Defense won't be slacking though. Vick is about to crack the code. Wilkins get the sack and go. Round on the ground when Highland get the tackle. Oh, Swift will get dismissed. He gon' think he has some shackles on. Smith could reminisce on how Jalen running routes. And the offense like some bandits, they gon' run up in your house. TD for Tyreek, TD for Raheem. You can't see the Phinz get this win, need some Visine. Sliding up the Philly guy, win streak energy. Mind state, one place, leave with the victory. Tour verse Jalen, leave with some memories. Might show brotherly love, but no sympathy. Beat him up in Philly, beat him up in Philly. Beat him up in Philly, Dolphins running through the city. Beat him up in Philly, beat him up in Philly. Beat him up in Philly, Dolphins running through the city. Sliding up the Philly guy.
All right. Beat him up in Philly. Beat him up in Philly. Dolphins running through the city. I love it. I love it. A little solo D. Okay. That was good. He doesn't like, where do you get the whole complete one now, right? Or does he only put out like a portion of it now? So is he doing some premium content stuff now?
Maybe that one was 142 and it was a boxing scene at the end, kind of on the steps there. But yeah, so
okay. All right. That was good. That was good with the Rocky theme inside and everything, how he mixed it in there. That was good. Big O, I watched the movie on Tua. Great story. Thank you. The best. The kid's the best. Tua is just as special as it gets, man. He just is. Bold move in Philly. There's a bunch of thugs up there. Sam Cavison. Thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. Please don't put Cater Kohu on A.J. Brown. Yeah, he's kind of handsy and with him. Yeah, but although you kind of need a physical player with A.J. Brown. So they may have to put Cater Kohu on him, actually. Now that I think about it, that may be the case. I wonder if Cam Smith gets some opportunities today. So, Big O, today's my birthday. All I want is a win. Well, happy birthday, Bert. I hope they get a win for you, my brother, and the entire Dolphin Nation, because I just feel like we're going to have a little different bounce in our step if they can go up and win a game like this on the road. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This might be one of the biggest road wins in Dolphin history in the last 20 years. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I love about this team compared to teams in the past, and this is why I was infuriated 3 weeks ago, and I still haven't recovered from that loss 3 weeks ago. But this is real, dude. Like the Wildcat stuff, I even said it during the season. This is a gimmick and whatever. I wasn't buying it. You know, it's fun. It's a nice novelty while it's going on, and the Jay Ajayi year, and if the 3 offensive linemen could stay healthy in certain games, you'd have some success. But they rarely could stay healthy in all the games. So it is what it is, but you enjoyed it. You enjoyed the dreadlock demon for a couple of seasons. But you never took any of that shit serious. At least I didn't. I never looked at it like any of these teams are something that they're building on that's legitimate. I just looked at it like another, a mediocre franchise that is trying to put enough together to try to sneak into the playoffs. That's not what this is about, dude. No. That's not what this is about. You got one of the most innovative offensive minds in the NFL right now. You got a coaching staff that knows how to develop an offense. You do have one hell of a defensive coordinator, okay? He hasn't figured it out yet, but technically, is he really supposed to figure it out by now without having all the pieces and everybody's not healthy? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? And he hasn't done a great job overall, but there's a lot to build here. You got a real quarterback. You got some special weapons on offense. You got some players on defense also. When you get Ramsey back, and hopefully you get, maybe you're doing the proper thing here with X, that you can kind of, keep him on the shelf for a couple weeks here and get him healthy. So that way you get Ramsey and X back together, maybe in a couple of weeks for Kansas City. It's probably what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if X is held out again next week, and then you save him for Kansas City. And now you whip out Kansas City at X at that point. So this is real, man. This is real. The stuff that's happened here for decades, the last 30 years, is not real. They never really had enough to really make an impact or do anything. This team does, man. They just have to believe in themselves now. They have to be able to understand that they can play at this level, but they have to go perform. This is why every one of you out there says, hey, I'm rooting for them. Now they got to go out and prove it. Hey, Philadelphia's better. Let's go. Because you can't lie to yourselves. You can do it publicly if you want, but deep down inside, you all know you really want them to win this game. Because it would really mean way more legitimacy to your record if you win this. If you're 5-2 and your 2 losses are to the only 2 quality teams you've played, okay? Because, for the last couple of weeks, people still stick in the Chargers, and I kind of look at them with a twisted eye like, that's not a really great win, But again, that's some of you out there that are so in love with Justin Herbert, and you think he's something special physically, sure. Quarterback-wise, es un pendejo. Hijo la gran chingada, es un pendejo, hombre. That's Justin Herbert. And ask your Hispanic friend there to translate that for you, okay? And unless, I think you've been around us Hispanics enough to kind of maybe understand what I just said there, How am I feeling about our center tonight? Tom, it's a wait and see thing, but I'm going to give these coaches the break. They must believe in him. He's gotten better. And dude, if he can perform tonight, then all of a sudden you've developed a quality backup left tackle and a quality center. That's effing nasty. So I'm gonna look at it that way before I just shit on it without, he has proper coaching. It's kind of like the Tua thing. It's really like the Tua thing. For 2 years, I kept telling the idiots, hey guys, it's not Tua. Tua's fine. He's fantastic. Okay, go look at the video. After his first year, I said he had a great year. When you consider all the crap that's going against him, and he still won and all that, that's how you measure it, man. You got to fight through this kind of stuff. But he didn't have the proper stuff around him to really succeed. Now he has it. Well, Liam Eichenberg never had any real coaching. And last year he was injured. So he's learning a new position, and he's only done it twice or 3 times or whatever. I mean, dude, we gotta be easy on the guy here. I know it's hard because of all the other years, but that's not his fault. So I'm going to take the more positive route here and give the young man the benefit of the doubt, and especially, not Liam, especially the coaches, because they've done an excellent job with everybody else. So if they feel they can fix him and get him right, then I'm going to trust him, man. Remember what I told you a couple weeks ago? Like when they told me, like, when are we going to get the benefit of the doubt? And I was like, wow. Yeah, that's the kind of line that shuts me up. So, anyway. Let's hope Claypool has learned enough Spanish for tonight. Like a kid Sunday morning, I wait for this show. Thank you, True Fin fan. I appreciate you, brother. That's very nice of you, as always. Thank you for the super chat. I'd rather watch you because you're honest, Big O, and I respect that. Go Finns, turn the media big off because the media today is bull crap. It's just they're all worried too much about the click stuff and all that. Mr. Arnaldo says, Big O, after watching the Tua documentary, how the hell can anyone not pull for this guy? He's a special dude. Exactly. When you watch that Tua special, that a prophecy in the making, brother, that shit is nasty, dude. You're like, wow, the family bond and the commitment and the drive that Tua has. He's special, bro. And his talent. To me, that's what stands out of everything when you watch that documentary, how you watch him dominate every level that he's ever been in. So why are you concerned about this level? Watch him. How many quarterbacks in the NFL are in the MVP conversation 2 years in a row? Thank you for playing. I appreciate that. That's where the conversation ends. That's it. Keep talking shit. How many quarterbacks are in the MVP conversation the last 2 years? A handful or less? Thanks for playing. Yeah, because, Dolphin quarterbacks all the time are in MVP conversations. I am, well, really? Another Dolphin quarterback in the MVP? Oh, God, I'm so bored with that. It's just the crap that goes on around that kid. It makes zero sense to me. 0 cents. Let's see. Don't forget Welton Rayom, by the way, proud sponsors of our program. We love talking about Welton Rayom. Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. One of our listeners in Orlando hired Welton Rayom. I know that we're kind of winding down, so it looks like we're pretty good in the storm season because I know it goes to November 30th. But, folks, keep this number because if you ever run into issues, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage for any reason, a storm, a water pipe damage, whatever it is, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, the consultation is completely free. Call my man, Jeff. And ask for Jeff Welt, and maybe you have a case and you don't even know it. It happened a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. Maybe the statute of limitations is not over and you've got a case, or maybe something happened and you think you weren't treated fairly. Man, you call Welton Rayom, explain it. Consultation's free. They'll tell you if you have a case. And if you do, man, I saw them bring Progressive to their knees in our case. Just call. Save it on this cell phone because they are amazing, and they do a great job of supporting our platform. 954-966-4646 for Welt and Rayom. Let's see. The benefit of the doubt is not just infinite. If Liam plays like he did against Carolina, then we have a decent shot, but Carolina does not have Jalen Carter. Amen? And that's the beauty of this, that this is like Buffalo again. He is getting, the ultimate challenge now. If he can hold up to this, he can hold up to pretty much anything else from here on out. I'm not going to crap on the kid yet, man. I'm going to give him a chance because all the other guys, I can't repeat it enough. Everything else has worked out. Why can't it work out again with this guy? They must feel something there. By the way, if they hit on Eichenberg, the drafting is freaking amazing. I mean, it's already great as it is because you hit on two of the three guys, Austin Jackson and Hunt. And again, very convenient. Everybody leaves out Lamb. Everybody leaves out Robert Jones saving your ass last year. Everybody leaves out Wynn. Everybody leaves out Brandon Shell last year. Conveniently, everybody, all those people want to pick on Eichenberg and Jackson. They leave out all the other things they've done that they found guys off the street and are developing those guys. You know what I mean? So now Austin Jackson develops, and really it's only Eichenberg. So for the people that's another one of those things, right? Oh, well, Chris Greer can't draft linemen. Really? Are you serious? So he found Brandon Shell. Didn't he play pretty good right tackle last year? Got you by? He found Robert Jones off the street. Didn't he play left guard? Isn't Isaiah Wynn playing left guard now? Isn't Kendall Lamb actually doing an excellent job at left tackle? And then he hit on Austin Jackson and Robert Hunt. So he so far is missing, supposedly right now, on Liam Eichenberg. But that means he can't build an offensive line? Aren't they number one rushing in the league? Aren't they number one passing in the league? All those criticisms. Oh, no. How do you hire Chris Greer? He's been part of the problem. Really? Does it look like he's been part of the problem to you now? Because he's the best we've had since Bobby Beathard. Okay? Young, Beathard, Thomas, all that stuff back then in the 70s. Ask Grandpa. Ask Dad. Ask your uncle. Chris Greer is the best front office you've had since the 70s. It's pretty ridiculous. He's the only GM. Follow me on this. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? He's the only GM in Dolphin history to find a quarterback and a head coach. Because Shula was his own, head coach and general manager and all that kind of crap. So it doesn't count. Shula didn't have to do that. Now, all the general managers after Shula, none of them could ever hire a head coach and find a quarterback. He's the only GM in the history of the Miami Dolphins since 1966, the only guy to hire a coach and draft a quarterback. And yet, some still don't give him the respect he deserves. It's really amazing. Christian, thank you for the love in the super chat, my brother. Oh, let's go, baby. My stomach is turning, but I'm ready. I got my little guy in his merino jersey. Let's go. Yeah, man. And that's the beauty of this game. That's why I know you guys want this. This is why this game means a ton. Not about standings in the AFC, not about divisional standings. It's about respect. You win this game, and you are the number one team in the NFL. Anybody and everybody's power rankings. You're 6-1. You just beat the Eagles on the road. That's where they say, oh, this Dolphin team arrived. Which they really haven't. You're going to need to take one from Kansas City or Buffalo. I need to see 2 out of 4, to be quite honest, for me personally, to kind of be convinced that you've turned the corner. Can't win one of these 4, but this is a start here. If you don't win this, you need to win the last 2. You better beat Kansas City and you better beat Buffalo. Okay? That's kind of the way I'm gonna kind of look at you. I need you to cross that threshold. I need you to be great. We got too many people out there that love this team, that follow this team, and they deserve greatness, dude. And that's just the way I look at it. You know, to be quite honest, it's just, and you have the talent right now. That's the beauty. You have the talent. So take advantage, man. Do it. Let me see what you got here. Big O, I told you know your stuff. Well, thank you, sir. Chris Greer is the Monty Hall of GMs. Let's make a deal. I'll tell you this, the battle of these quarterbacks, a lot of fun. Jalen Hurts right now is 20th in the league in passer rating. Okay? Dolphins are 22nd in pass yards allowed. So not a great passing team at the moment, but you're not going up against a great pass defense overall. The Eagles now are second in total offense and in rushing offense. They're averaging 26 points a game. The Dolphins, by the way, are number 1 in passing, number 1 in rushing. Okay, they have the number 1 offense in the NFL, and they have the number 1 rated quarterback in the NFL in Tua Tagovailoa. They are averaging 37 points per game. They are averaging 499 yards total offense. Will they get to 37 points and 500 yards of offense tonight? If they do that, I think you got a really good chance to win. That's for damn sure. I got to tell you, the props for Tua, 273.5 is the over and under. For Jalen Hurts, it's 256.5. By the way, do you know how big this win is for the Miami Dolphins if they're able to pull it off? The Eagles and Jalen Hurts have not lost 2 in a row since week 6 and 7 of the 21 season. This is a team that doesn't lose 2 in a row. The Jets obviously surprised them last week. What was it? 20 to 14. 20 to 14 last week. Mostert, by the way, has a 48.5 over and under in rushing. Swift is at 62.5 over and under. The wide receiver props, Devonta Smith, 60.5 over under. Goddard, 38.5. Tyreek Hill, 98.5. Jalen Waddle, 61.5. I kind of like that one. And Raheem Mostert, 12.5 over and under. Kind of like that one too. Kind of like that one. I am excited for this one. The Philly defense, by the way, Tua facing this Philly defense. Miami has allowed 6 sacks, but 4 of them was against the Bills. So you've got to tighten up here against the Eagles and keep them clean. The Eagles are 5th in the NFL in sacks. They've got 20. Hassan Reddick is the werewolf. He has 5.5 of those sacks. And by the way, Hassan Reddick has picked up those 5.5 sacks in the last 3 games. So that's what Tua is facing right now. The man is on pace for 5,315 yards and 40 touchdowns. If you think anyone can throw for 5,315 yards and 40 touchdowns, if he's able to do that, and you think Teddy or Skyler or Mike White or any of these other guys can do that shit, that they would struggle to do that in a video game. Okay? It's asinine to think that anybody is very few quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Justin Herbert won't do this because he can't throw through the windows that this guy throws to because he doesn't see them. And again, that's the problem, I think, for a lot of people, what they don't understand. There's a lot of quarterbacks that don't see through windows and have anticipatory skills. And I think that
sometimes people, they assume, and they really haven't watched the player, and the player does not have anticipatory skills. So there you go. Safid Dean, by the way, and David Furones will join us in the postgame show, fresh from the locker rooms. Okay? What else do we want to talk about? Do want to tell you about Sloman's Home Shield, 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME, and we are giving away a free doorbell camera. That's right, folks. Listen, they're in 14 different states. Also, we got winter coming by, so 1-866-OIL-DEAL. If you have heating oil where you live, they have a fixed rate price, so you can save yourself some money. You know what you use per month. Compare, just call 1-866-OIL-DEAL. But if you want to get a free doorbell camera, all you got to do is call 1-800-ALARM-ME. And when you use our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring, folks, we're going to give you that LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. You're going to love it. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them that Big O sent you. Support the great sponsors that support us. Let's see. AVG and Phillips need to put heavy pressure on Hurts. Brother, today's a game for Zach Sealer, for Raekwon Davis, Christian Wilkins. You want Quinnen Williams money? Let's go, bro. Become a home wrecker. Blah, 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 blah. You want to talk a lot of shit? Let's go, dude. What better way to go to negotiations at the table and say, I created havoc against Buffalo. You didn't. I created havoc against the Eagles. I destroyed Kansas City, and I terrorized Josh Allen again at the end of the year. And then I helped us win a playoff game or 2 or 3 or the Super Bowl. You want Quinnen Williams money, right? That's the word on the street. You're complaining. You're not happy in that building. Well, dude, you're not getting the money because you're not a pass rusher. So if you want to be a pass rusher, then be a home wrecker. Zach Sealer, let's go. Raekwon Davis, it's a contract year, baby. What more motivation do you need, sir? I'm sorry, I must have missed it. Bradley Chubb, you've shown some sign of life against crappy teams. Bubba, they paid you to star in these kind of games. Right? There's an elite pass rusher that's in Buffalo, right? You see all those kind of dudes. Well, they're paying you, you're probably not to be a 15-sack guy, but you should be in the 10-12 area easily. Jalen Phillips, you got to wake up. AVG, you got to terrorize. Everybody's got to step up, dude. David Long, Jerome Baker, you guys have to be exceptional. And this is the kind of game that if your front seven aren't creating havoc, the back end is going to have a hard time because they've got A.J. Brown and Donta Smith. Those guys, that's no joke, man. They have the talent. It is time for them to step up, dude, and come through. Not just tonight, but throughout the rest of the season. They've got to step up, dude. It is time. Let's see. I expect you to come back in 3 hours pissed off because we wet the bed again and didn't show up and got embarrassed. Well, I hope not. Still can't deny Greer transformed this. I mean, anybody that denies that, you got to be a moron at this point. I don't know what the conversation is. Ye of little faith, I know you all are hurt from the last couple of decades. Tonight we win. Let's go, no doubt. Let's go. I'm taking the Phinz +3. Miami Dolphins will beat the Philadelphia Eagles 29-26. We'll be on the second the game ends. Okay, so when it ticks 0, it'll already be playing. You can already jump on board and join us for a very happy post-game show. Unlike some of you negative Nellies out there, I am going to put some faith in the boys that they will turn the corner tonight. They will shock the world. They will surprise. And I've seen lesser teams beat good teams, really good teams. Okay, we've seen the Bills that is pretty damn good, and they lose. Kansas City has lost. This Eagles team lost to a Jets team that has no offense whatsoever. It's definitely possible, but not a what if or on any given Monday, Sunday, Thursday bullshit. It's because you need respect. It's because you want to send a message to the league and say, hey, we're not just a finesse, put up a whole bunch of points and then punch us in the face, we go home type of team. We're here to punch you in the face, and we're here to beat your ass. And that's what I want to see tonight. So go Dolphins. I'll see you after the game ends right here on the EJDconstruction.com post-game show. We'll see you all later on. Thanks to Sean Stanley, David Furonis, and Safid Dean will join us in the post-game show fresh from the locker rooms. Go Phinz. Stay positive, baby.
This has been the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Show. From home to kitchen to bathroom additions and remodelings, get in contact with one of the best contractors in the business. Call Eric at EJDconstruction.com, 305-433-4843. Please subscribe to our platform by searching Big O Radio Show on all digital avenues. We'll be back with a complete wrap-up of the game once the last second ticks off the clock. Thank you for your support and enjoy Dolphins football.